Now, here's General Dino.
Salute. Okay, kids. Now it's time for our math project. With my script. Okay. My face is a little deflated. Hey, kids. I'm Dino. I was hired to do some math with you. Let's start. I'm 100% good and wealthy. 100% is obviously a percent. What is a percent? A percent is kind of like a fraction. For example, 50% is equal to the fraction 1/2, and 25% is equal to the fraction 1/4. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, okay. Next lesson. For the next lesson, we're going to be going to Mathland. Mathland.
Do I stop recording?
Oh, what?
Do I stop the recording?
Why?
Do I stop the recording because of Mathland?
No.
Oh.
Okay, just keep this in. Okay, are you ready to go to Mathland, children? 3, 2, 1. Now it's time we stop recording. Hey children. Nice to see you in Mathland. Copyright took Nate and Zella. Okay, so on to our next lesson. Our next lesson is about, let me look at my script. Oh, more fractions. Okay. You know Dino's award-winning animation, Doggo number 19. You know how Doggo was represented by 19 and Jeffrey was like 20? Like 19 over 1, and Jeffrey was represented by 20 over 1. Yeah, those aren't equivalent. But if Doggo was one more, like 20 over 1, they would be equivalent, because they're the same. Yeah, that's equivalent. So that's the end of this lesson. So let's go back to our normal land. 3, 2, 1. Stop. Oh no, we seem to have landed in Mathland, not the real world. Okay, let's just do the lesson. Let me look at my script.
Nom nom nom.
Let's do the next lesson. Ratios. They're like a form of comparisons. For example, the ratio 1 to 3. 1 to 3 is like saying for every one of something, there is 3 of whatever. Okay, let's blorg go. Okay, 3, 2, 1. I think I'm a sofa.
I know how you feel.
All right, we need to get this math lesson over with. Let me find my math paper. Oh, here it is. It was right here the whole time. Okay. So the last lesson we need to do is write 3 comparison statements about the same situation, one using difference, one using a fraction, and one using a ratio. Okay, so my situation is Johnny had 4 apples. Samantha had 1 apple. Johnny would buy 8 apples if Samantha bought 2 apples. So the ratio for that statement is 1-4. The fraction is 1/8 because Samantha didn't buy another apple. Oh, well, 1/4 I mean. I'm just dumb. So that's for the fraction. And what does difference mean? Marcos, what does difference mean?
The difference between two sums is the number.
You know what it is now, Marcos. Just go away, peasant cameraman. No, don't actually go away. So the difference between 1 and 4 is 3. Now let's get out of this sofa land. Jump, sofa, jump. Okay, stop recording. Nom nom nom. I seem to be Ralph in Ralphland. So I have really no more lessons to do besides eating this food. So let us try to transform out of this Ralph. Not Ralph, jump. No, jump, Ralph. Okay, that's totally jumping. Stop. Wow, that was radical, Zips.
Whoa, thank you, General Dino. Salute.
Thank you, Colonel Cameraman.
No problem. With grid low rates, you can get out online, go to the General and save some time.
Thank you, Chef O'Neill.
Hiya kids, this is Karina's 6th try of trying to do this math, and I'm kind of tired, so I'm going to put Mrs. Seal away. Describe what strategies for finding a percent of a known quantity. Use benchmarks, like 50%. What strategies can you use to find a percent of one quantity to another quantity? Smaller benchmarks, like 1/8. How are percents used to make comparisons? Like decimals and fractions, they're part of a number, or like a number and another part. So yeah, you use it like decimals and fractions. How are percents used to make comparisons? I already did that. Describe other strategies that you can use to make comparisons. Well, look at fractions and decimal comparisons and kind of base it off of that. Simple. Okay. Previous lesson. Not every fraction refers to a quantity between 0 and 1. Give some examples of numbers that are greater than 1 or less than 0. -1/8 and 9/8. How is a number and its opposite represented on a number line? They're on the exact same place except on opposite sides, like if you folded it in half. What are some strategies for deciding which of the two numbers is greater? Give examples. If it's positive, it's always greater than the negatives. That's about it. When comparing two positive whole numbers with different numbers of digits, such as 115 and 37, the one with more digits is greater. How does this rule work for comparing decimals? No. If it's 299 thousandths, and then you get 3/10, 3/10 is greater. Okay. The last lesson we needed to, because Dino covered the rest. How can you determine a unit rate for a situation? Well, you always have to have 1 if it's a unit rate. So find the 1, and then figure out the other number. If there's no 1, it's not a unit rate. Describe some ways that unit rates are useful. Well, unit rates are useful for when teachers are telling you in school to do unit rates. What strategies do you have to make a rate table? Find patterns. It's very simple if you find patterns. Describe some ways that rate tables... Oh, I already did that. How are your strategies for writing equivalent ratios the same or different from writing equivalent fractions? Well, you're kind of simplifying it. Like if you have 2 to 10, you can just slice the 2 in half to get 1 and slice the 10 in half to get 5, and it's 1 to 5, and that's equivalent. Yeah, that's all I got for today, folks. Okay, need to end this before it gets too